Awesome. Okay, well, thank you everybody for getting on. It is Monday night, February 5th, and I'm really excited to share with you guys about the February Frenzy and just some of the great things that the company has going on for us in the month of February and a little bit into March. But tonight, what our topic of the week is just who do you surround yourself with and how that impacts your life, not just in your business, but in your personal life as well. And so was looking through those last week, some of my favorite books just on the topic of the circle of people that you let in your bubble, right? Because it's so important. Like, I remember growing up, how many of you guys had like a parent that was like, you're going to become like the people you hang out with? Anybody have a parent like that? Like, my dad was Steve, and he was said, like, if I had a group of girlfriends, he'd be like, listen, if there's 5 of them who think at this level and you think at this level, it's much easier for them to bring you down than for you to bring them up. And I would be like, Dad, and he'd be like, because I'd say, well, I want to do it. Why? Everybody else is doing it. And he would say, if they all jumped off the Nemaha River Bridge, would you jump too? Like that. Mercy, like, knows what bridge I'm talking about. And I'd be like, Dad, seriously. But the point he was making, and if you have teenagers or if you have kids even, right? My kids are 10 and 8, but it is important who their friends are. And that's not a snotty thing. It's trying to protect, at least for me, what I'm trying to instill in my children. And I want them to be around kids who are like-minded. And so as you're growing your business, it's really important to surround yourself with positive, like-minded people. And I just don't mean people that throw little posts on Facebook that say, oh, my attitude's great today. And then they're nagging at everybody in real life, because, people see through that, right? And so just be authentic with who you are and what you're doing. And so I'll just give you guys a couple examples. When I joined Isogenics, I had some people in my life that were totally negative, that were just like, this is never going to work. I mean, how many of you guys have people like that? That every time, they think this is, Isogenics isn't great. But when I really got to think about that, I'm like, even if somebody's not supportive of the company, if they really love you and believe in you, they should be supportive of what you're excited about, right? As long as it's a good thing. So, but I look at, my family and some of my close friends, and they were just like so non-supportive and had all this negative stuff to say. And so for me personally, like, I had to separate myself a little bit. And I'm not saying you don't love those people. I'm not saying, you can't, do other things with those people. But as far as my business was concerned, I kind of had to like have a parting of the ways. And I started looking, like I said, this last week, through all my books that I have in my office, and there's like hundreds. I love to read. And literally, like, I had a stack, like 12 books high, of just the first books I had got off. And every one of them talked about the circle of people that you let into your influence. Like, we've all heard, like, we become the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with, right? And so these are just like 3 of my favorite books. And I wrote down some things out of each one that I want you guys to hear, because it's some of the greatest business minds and that that are in these books. And then some of, just some other areas of my life that I think are really important, that it talks to the idea of who you put in your circle and who you surround yourself with is so important. And so this first one, you guys, I love this book. It's called The 25 Biblical Laws of Success, but it talks about Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett says, I'm just going to read some of this to you. It says, he concerns these values in order to stress that the company you keep influences your behavior, your integrity, and your image. And, what I want to say to you is, everybody talks in this industry about branding. You got to brand yourself, whatever that is to you. And so it's really important that it's not just what you're doing and what you're saying, but it's the circle of people you have around you, because you may not be doing that, but if the people you hang with are, what people believe is their reality. Whether it's true or not, perception is reality, right? So what I perceive is my reality. It could be totally different than something that Bree perceives, but what we perceive is our reality. And so Warren Buffett said, that who your company you keep influences your behavior, your integrity, and your image. And he talks about, there's going to be great people and not great people. And he said, that you can't make a good deal with a bad person. And so it's just interesting to read, as you go through here. And he talks about, not doing business with people who are dishonest or bad people. And so even when you look at your business, and I always say this, and I mean this, like, I would not enroll somebody that I would not put at the dinner table with my children. Because this business is a legacy business for me. It's something that I want my kids to have down the road. So we've had people reach out to us. We actually had a man sit at our dining room table, and he said, I don't care about the products. I don't care really about even helping people. He said, I just want to make money. And Justin and I were like, we just kind of like, both of us felt like we were going to puke in our mouths. And we were like, just kind of looking at each other. And Justin goes, well, that's not really how it works. Like, we're really about like helping people. And the more people you help, then you'll make money, the more money you'll make. And he's like, oh, that's not how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to sell it to people. And I think he enrolled his mom and his wife, and that was it. And he was gone. And so, you guys, what we found in this business, and for doing this a long time, is that, if you don't have a heart for people, you're not going to last very long. And so you want to make sure that the people you're bringing our team, just like I said, I don't care if this person was the number one income earner in another company. If they are not a person that I would put with my kids, that's not who I'm going to enroll. Because guess what? When we go to Hawaii this summer, I don't want my kids hanging with people that I don't want them hanging with, because we're influencing them, right? So like last year or 2 years ago, we earned the trip to Maui, and Christy and Todd Youngdalt were there with their 3 kids, and we love them. And they're great quality, faith-based family people. So our kids played, they became best friends with them. And so they came this summer and visited us. So what I want you guys, I'm trying to say to you is, like, Isogenics, at least for us, I'm dropping my books everywhere. Isogenics, at least for us, is our lifestyle. It's who we're with. And it's like, think about how many of your best friends are in this company, right? And so you want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people. So Warren Buffett, back to Warren Buffett. He said, the people that you surround yourself create synergy and a circle of virtue when everyone is together. And so he just said, make sure you choose wisely. Your most important decision in all of business is the team of people you put around you. And Jim Coover always says, like, I surround myself with a team of thoroughbreds. The people that you put into your circle. I think that's so important, and like I said, you can still love those people. You can still, but you just can't let them affect what you're doing, or infect is a good choice of words, what you're doing. Another principle for me, or, something that I think speaks really, important in my life, is that it's even biblical. It says in Proverbs 13:20, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. And so, you guys, it's really important that, that you're putting yourself around people who are like-minded, who are going to make good decisions, because that's going to impact your business. And I can tell you, we've done this for 12 years with Isogenics, and we've had people come into our business that were not what I just said to you. We're not the wise people that we want to have in our business. And it is like a bad apple in a bucket or a barrel, or however you say that, and it just like spreads like a cancer. So you've got to make sure that you don't value the dollar over what is happening in your organization, because it can spread like wildfire. And so just like it says, and another thing, as I continue down that page, it just talked about, that each of us chooses what we want for ourselves. You cannot choose for someone else. You can only make your own choices. And so it's so important to remember that, because I know in this business, especially people with huge hearts, they're like, oh my gosh, I want to help that person more. I want to do it for them. I want to, lead them there. Why can't they do it? And you get so discouraged when people you love, right? Like, don't get it and don't do it. But it's so clear, like, that's not our job. Our job is to, lead people. And then, they have to make the choice of where they're going to go. So, another thing that I thought was really powerful, it just said, if you feel like you're being influenced more than you are influencing, you should really consider that, what's going on in that relationship. And it's so true that, that it says helping others is a good thing, but never hire someone or become a business partner with someone who has the wrong attitude. And so I think about that. Like, I have family that I love. I have an aunt that is like, that I love her, but I'm not going to hire her to do Isogenics with me. I'm not going to have her in my business. Now, I'm going to love her, and I'm going to help her, and I'm going to do whatever I can for her. But don't confuse the two things. They're totally separate things. Are you guys with me on this? Like, you gotta, it's important. That's a good book. Get that book if you don't have it. Okay. The next one I dropped on the floor. You're going to have to hold on a second. I got to go get it. Justin put a lock on my door so my kids can't get in my office when I'm doing my Zooms. And I think my 10-year-old just picked the lock because literally I had it locked and he just came in and he's like, I'm like, shut up. So I have to get a better lock on my door. He figures everything out though. See, do you want your kids hanging out with my kids? Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so the next book that I love, this one I talked about last week, Everything Counts. But in here it talked about role modeling, and I think this is so important to realize that when you start to grow a team, that even if you only share with one person, you guys, they look to you because you're their person, right? So people join people. People don't join a business. Like if people have joined your Isogenics, group, they joined you. They didn't join Isogenics. Most of the time they don't even join for the products. They join because of who the person is and that they have a relationship and trust that person. So, this just said with role modeling that, your job is an influencer. So, that you're making, Jimmy Smith said to me, Hilary, we don't just, sponsor people, that you take personal responsibility for the people that you personally share with. And so, I want you to think about that. Like, are you teaching them the right stuff? Are you showing them the way to do this? Or are you just like out, enrolling people and not taking any responsibility and not helping those people? Because it's so important that you provide them leadership, because what they see you do is what they're going to do for their people. So if you want to grow a huge team, duplication is so important. So plugging your people in and being the positive role model. If somebody has something negative to say about somebody else, just stop them. Just say, that's not, there's so many other things we can talk about. There's so many things we can move forward. Every single person, whether you like people or not, has something positive about them. So find that thing that they're good at. Find whatever it is. I mean, there are people that I know rub you wrong because there's people that rub me wrong. But I'm like, okay, what's something about them that they have a good quality? What is something that they've done well in their life? And try to focus on that. Like make that priority. And like, it says on here, grace. Like you have to give people grace because you've been given grace over and over and over and over again. Okay. Somebody asked what that book was. Everything Counts. That's that book. And then this is like my favorite book of all time. I've read this book like 59 million times. So it's called The Attitude That Attracts Success. And it's so good. It's written by a pastor in Hawaii. And it's like one of my favorite books. I was given this book forever ago. I don't even know. Maybe Amy Dunlap gave it to me eons ago. But it is tattered and worn. But my favorite chapter in here talks about the lei. When you go to Hawaii, you get a lei. And that what the lei represents. And so he says that the lei represents your attitude, right? Because the lei has a fragrance. So if you've ever been to Hawaii, they put the lei around your neck and you smell all the flowers and it smells so awesome. And he talks about the types of flowers they use and why they use them, because people, like, think about a song comes on the radio and you go back to that time when you heard that song, or you smell a smell and you can, like, I smell my husband's shirts and I love that smell. Like, he's like, oh, that's dirty. And I'm like, oh, it smells like him. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, so the smell has a fragrance. The lei has a fragrance. And what he says in here, and it's just so true, he said, your attitude is like a fragrance you wear around your neck. And whether you know it or not, your lei has a smell. It's either a good smell or a bad smell. And he talks about some of the flowers in Hawaii that have like a terrible smell that they would never use in making a lei, because that would be the first thing you would get when you got to Hawaii, and it'd be the last thing you thought of when you left. And that would always be your thought. And so, what I kind of said this last week, like we all leak something, like your attitude, people sense it before your mouth even opens. And so, the same thing with this, your attitude is like a fragrance you carry around your neck, and I just think, as I was writing that down, it was so interesting. I closed the book and I've read this 1,000 times, but I don't know that I've ever read the back. And that actual story was what was on the back cover. And he talks about they don't make leis out of fish, right? Because it would stink. Like, it seems really funny and but it's so true, you guys. Like, I mean, I can walk in a room with some of you and I want to walk out before I even talk to you, because I'm like, oh, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And so if that's you, you got to make sure you check your attitude, and that, we talk about, like I said before, like branding and all of that and our reputation, but it precedes you. Like, once you establish that, people already know before, and it takes a lot of work, right, to establish a new reputation. It takes one thing. You can have a great reputation. It takes one thing to jack it up, and then it takes, forever to build it back up. So it's so important that the people that are in that group of people around you, not just yourself, but that close-knit group of people, are people that you want to be, you know, if they said, oh, like I will go anywhere with Kathy Helm. She has so much integrity and has so much heart and is so much fun. Like if they're like, are you in Kathy's group? I'm like, I'm going. So, I mean, you have to think about that. Like, who do you want to surround yourself with? And that's what your business has to be, because I'll tell you what, if you become that, whatever, you know, that is for you, that positive, that caring, giving person, those are going to be the people you attract into your business. Whatever you're giving off, that's what you attract. So if you're like, man, I keep getting broke, unhappy people on my team, you might want to check the mirror. And I'm just going to be straight with you guys, because that's just a fact. Like you attract the people that you're getting into your life because they want to be around you for a reason. Okay. And so it's so important that as you're making your connections and as you're enjoying things where people are, you think maybe like people you want to be around. So like whatever that is for you, it might be roller derby. I don't know, that just totally came out of the left field. Whatever it is for you, right? Like for me, I joined a Bible study last fall because I wanted to be around women that I wanted to be around, and that was appealing to me. And so now it's so fun because several of those women have joined our team, and it's fun because when I go with them and I do stuff, it's stuff it's stuff I like to do. It's influences that I like to have. Is this making sense to you? So people are always like, where do I go find more people? Well, go do activities with people you want to be around. Go join things that you want to be a part of and do things that are fun. Like I've said for a year now, I'm going to make Justin join a line dancing group with me because I think that would be so fun. Could you guys see Justin line dancing? He'd be so cute. This morning he put on Michael Jackson. We have one of those little echoes, and he's like a really good dancer actually, but he won't do it in front of people. And so he put on the echo with Michael Jackson, and him and the two kids, like, he was like doing the moonwalk. Like, he's so good. I'm so terrible. I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, honey, please stop doing that. Like, but it's so fun. So I'm just saying, like, put yourself where you want to be around other people who are, I don't know, just like I said, I just think this is such an important principle that, and it's so important to teach to your kids that, you know, we were at Bible study last week actually, and Sarah, the lady who leads it, was talking about her son, and that when he was growing up, we live in a really small town, so if you don't play sports, it's kind of like you're not cool. And her son, Ben, just was never into sports. She said he played basketball one time and it wasn't his thing, so he took up piano lessons. And so this is a point, just follow me. And so he took up piano lessons, and she said, you know, he had to become confident in who he was because everybody around him wasn't like him. But they just kept saying to him, you have a gift. You have a gift. Like, it doesn't matter. And that's what I want to say to you. Like, if you don't have a circle of people that make you feel good, get a new circle of people. Like, get new friends. Like, just go find them. Like, so she said, you know, they kept telling Ben, you have a gift. You have a gift. And then, so we were talking about this. So I said, well, what's Ben doing now? And so she's like, hold on. So Bible study got over, and she programmed her TV, and he is the worship pastor for a huge church in Minneapolis of like 5,000 people. And he was just jamming on his guitar, and it was amazing. And I mean, he came from this little town of 900 people because his parents kept saying, you have a gift. You don't have to be like everybody else. You have a gift. And I mean, how important is that if you have kids that you're saying that to them? You don't have to be like everybody else. Or like I'm saying to you, you know, like, find a new circle. Like, if people in your circle don't make you feel loved, why do you want to be around them anyway? Like, go find new people, you know, and it's so much better that way. And you'll have so much more growth. It's just, anyway. So that was what I felt like somebody needed to hear tonight. But I'm going to talk to you guys now. I'm going to show you the February Frenzy. Who's excited about the February Frenzy? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, let me pull up a slide here. Give me a second. This, if you're going to go to a February Frenzy, and I know there were actually some tonight. So, hold on one second. Okay, this is the slide from what you're going to see if you go to a corporate event. You're going to see a whole PowerPoint, which is going to be phenomenal. And next week on the Monday Night Zoom, what we're actually going to do is we're going to go through the February Frenzy PowerPoint. So if you are not in a city, there's like 50 cities across the country, right? But if you're not in a city where there's a February Frenzy, or if you're not close to where there's a February Frenzy, or sold out, because a lot of them are, next Monday night, we're actually going to go through the slides. It's about a 2-hour presentation, but we're just going to, you know, pick out some of them that we really feel like are powerful and do those. Maybe we'll do a couple weeks of it. But this is the February Frenzy promotion. So I'm so excited about this, you guys, because celebration, you know, if you've been on any of my calls that, I mean, I just drive events because events are going to build your belief. They're going to build your business. They're going to, you know, they change lives. And it's not just for you here on the stage. So if you're like thinking, oh, I'm just going to stay home and watch the lives. Like, I'm one of the people who keeps telling the company, I don't like the lives. Like, I wish they'd record it and you could have it like a month later, because I think you should have to be in a seat, because it's the energy that impacts you. It's the people in the hallway that you meet, or what somebody says at lunch that really has changed my life. Like, there's so many things at different events that have impacted me so deep that were not taught from the stage, that were other things that happened. And so go to the event. If you're like, I can't afford celebration, that's a bunch of crap. And I can say that from a place that I mean it, because when we started Isogenics, hold on one sec, I'm going to lock this. When we started Isogenics, let me lock this, guys, because somebody's drawing on it. When we started Isogenics, we did not have the money for me to go to celebration, and we started on the 30th of May, and it was the first week of August. So I had like, what, June, July, like 8 weeks to figure out how to go. We literally did not have the money for me to be there. And so I knew, okay, this is how many people I have to enroll. This is how much money I've got to make. So now, like with this, there's no excuse why you cannot be there. You know, if you know that you have to go out and enroll, okay, 10 new people, because that's how much money you've got to make to go there, okay, then do that. So with this, you can see this is an extra $1,700. So first of all, when you enroll 5 people,
bam.
Let me mute the line again. Hey, you guys, if you have background noise, if you can mute your line, that would be super awesome. Thank you. So it starts today and it goes through Sunday, March 4th. So first thing, when you enroll 5 new customers, they have to do at least 150 BV or greater. You're going to earn $200 cash from the company. Then travel allowance is number 2. You share with 8 people. You get the 200 and you get an additional 500. And so both of those are going to be put in your check on March 19th. So number 1 and number 2, for enrolling 5 customers and 8 customers, $700 you'll earn will be put into your check on March 19th. And then the third step is the celebration hotel bonus. And you guys, that's $1,000 toward your hotel. And so that you can see from tier 3, but after you verified on-site registration at the event, that's going to be paid to you in your commission check that week. And so that's how they're going to do that, to make sure that people are actually attending the event. And so $1,700, like, I think this is crazy, because the company last year, like, if you enrolled 10 people, I think you got to like meet Jim and Kathy Coover, which was awesome and great, but it wasn't $1,000 to pay for your hotel, or $1,700 to, you know, help you pay for your airfare. I mean, if you do this, that you won't have to pay for celebration. This pays for every bit of it. So when we found out they were doing this, I just told Justin, I'm like, the company is doing everything in their power to get you in that room. And so it's a choice. You know, if you don't go to celebration this year, if people aren't there, you know, it really is a choice of your own, that you're saying it's not that important to me. Because, you know, instead of just saying I don't have time for something, say it's not a priority. So like for me, like with exercising, you know, right now, and I'm so focused on that. So when I say, I used to like, I don't have time, like I ran out of time. So instead, somebody said to me, Hilary, you say it's not a priority. So I didn't exercise today because it wasn't a priority. And then it sounds really bad. You know what I mean? So I was in, even though I told you on the beginning of this call, I'm not feeling great, with 3 of my kids in my workout room exercising before the call, because it's a priority. And so is going to this event a priority for you? Is leading your people a priority for you? Because if you send your people to an event and you don't go, I'm trying to, how to put this nicely, or if you don't think you need to go, then your people don't go, you guys. Like, you, whether you like it or not, you are their leader. If you shared with people, you are their leader. So if you don't want to be a leader, stop sharing with people. I'm just going to say that, because it's not fair to them to enroll people and not lead them. Or at least, and if you're like, I'm not a good leader, guess what? Just do your best. You know, get them on this call, get them on the corporate calls. Like the Wednesday night Zoom is amazing. Get your team on there every Wednesday night. You'll learn something every Wednesday night. But this promotion right here, I mean, I messaged Kathy after I saw this. I'm like, Kathy, this is crazy. Kathy Cooper. I'm like, you guys just keep giving and giving and giving. I mean, you guys, $1,700. And guess what? If you have people that qualify in the Welcome Back Challenge, the Welcome Back campaign, they qualify for this too. So if you have somebody that's green in your back office, that's been out for a certain period of time, as long as they do 150 BV when they order their product, they count as one of your 10 people. So it's just so amazing. I mean, the company wants you to be there. And here's the thing. You have to have a celebration ticket in your back office to get this for this month. So we were on a call last week, and then we got a message last night on another page that there's less than 2,000 celebration tickets left, you guys. And so there's 50 February Frenzies across the country. So I need to think about that, do the math. It's not very many that have to sell at each one and it's going to sell out. So I mean, I would think by the end of this week, there's not going to be many tickets left if there are any. So, if you've got to get your ticket now and enroll 5 people this week to make enough money that it pays for it when it hits your card, then do that. Don't make an excuse that you can't be there. Do the work so that you can be there. Because I can tell you that first celebration, whatever it took, I did to get there. And I remember sitting in the audience watching Susan train. Susan Sly was training, and she had 2 babies then. And I remember thinking, I could do what she's doing. Like, she's a mom with little kids. Like, I could do this. Like, I just remember seeing different people and thinking, I could do this. And I think, like, you've got to get yourself at the event, and you've got to get your team at the event. And so this February Frenzy promotion, you need to screenshot this. Everybody should get their phones out and screenshot this. And then you should text it to every single one of your team members tonight. And just say, if you only have 2 team members, text it to them and say, we're all going to earn this. All 3 of us are going to earn this month. And watch what happens to your business. You'll hit the 5 cycle bonus. Your team will grow if you, utilize the promotion that the company puts in front of you. And you guys think about it. If you have team members and they go enroll 10 new people this month, then your job is to help them take those 10 people and develop them into consultants, because they'll be an executive. So if you do this promotion and you're listening tonight and you're new, say you haven't enrolled anybody, and you go out and enroll those 10 new customers, and you then help those 10 new customers to share with 2 people each, you'd become an executive as well. So you take the bonuses from rank advancement, PIB, cycle, that's over $4,500. Add it to the $1,700, you have like a $7,000 month in your business. I mean, how many of you would $7,000 in February make a difference for your family? I mean, I just think it's a choice, to not sit idle and not rest on your laurels, but to do the work that it takes. Okay? So now that I've said that, I just want to make sure you guys, are every day doing something consistently. If you're like, what do I do? Make 5 phone calls a day. Follow up with 5 people a day. I said this last week, and some of our team members, I mean, we've been doing this for 11 years now, and I still have my paper, and I still write names down, like when I contacted them, how I contacted them, what they said, did I follow up with them, and then I write down like notes. So over beside here, I wrote, okay, police officer, 3 jobs, helps mom, wants to do this. Like, I make notes so that I can follow up with them and say, oh, okay, well, Kelly, that's why, you should do this. This is why, right here, so that your husband doesn't have to work 3 jobs anymore. Just do the work, okay? So reach out to enough people. And if you don't know enough people, connect with more people, the right people, right? And there's lots of stuff that's free, you guys, that you can join. If you're like, I can't, do BNIs, I can't do chambers, they cost too much money. There's so much stuff that's free. Go to meetup.com. Find stuff in your area. There's so many things that you can do so that you can earn this $1,700 for your family, right? And that you can be at Celebration with us in Nashville, because it's going to be awesome. And it's going to be great. So let me stop the share, and we will finish up. 1 second, guys. Okay, so let me mute that line again. I can. All right. Well, we're just going to finish up. So, computer's kind of like freezing. Can you guys hear me still? I can can see Carrie a little bit. All right. Well, that was basically the end of the call anyway. So I just want to make sure that, you know, you're surrounding yourself with, right, the positive, like-minded people, and that you're focused on the February Frenzy, because, you know, we really want you to be there. We want to help you guys. And so make sure you're on the call next week. If you can get to a February Frenzy in your area, they are all over the country. I know that some of them are sold out. So just go anyway. I didn't say that, but go anyway, because there are going to be guests who are going to be leaving. So maybe you can kind of slide in. So go to the February Frenzies in your local area. If not, be on here next Monday night, 8:30, and we'll go through some of the slides from the February Frenzy. So, all right, everybody, have a great week. Make sure to start now, because you don't want to wait and get behind on your 10s. You want to have at least 2 to 3 enrollments this week. It'll be awesome. You can do it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Hilary.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.